All right, we are recording. Let's grab my notes for a minute. So the person that you mentioned or had asked, are they going to come in person or so are you on your side?
No.
Okay. Oh, no. It says I've been signed out. 1 second. Sign back in. Can you check the stream real quick? Still fine. I'm gonna have to re-sign in to Zoom so I can make sure I'm still recording. Definitely. Right. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tyler Landgraf, the Vice President of the United States. The Vice President of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, our cybersecurity club here. Of course, joining me as our second lecturer for this class is Miguel Fernandez. He's our treasurer for the cybersecurity club. We'll be lecturing once a week through the semester for our series on intro to cybersecurity. Offering 1-hour lectures with like thorough explanations. We're going to be working on trying to get you guys assignments as well throughout the semester every week. Of course, this is our first one though, but we'll go over just a couple things here and there and ask you guys a couple questions too, so we can tailor this mostly to you guys because that's the whole point. Let's see. So in the chat, since no one's really in the course or class here personally, can you put what your major is? Just want to see what kind of audience we currently have. Right. So I do see a lot of computer science and a handful of cybersecurity already. This is a good turnout. We'll definitely go ahead and be promoting this course more throughout this week, just so we can get a better turnout. Hopefully more people get involved moving forward. Let's see. Right, because of course our thoughts process behind introducing this series, along with like our intro to Python that we have every Thursday, 5 to 6 p.m. Of course, aiming it outside the club's organization to be able to offer our students more than just like either a membership to a club or anything like that. Let's see. But of course, if you are more interested in learning more about cybersecurity beyond just this intro class, feel free to join us on our Discord. Well, we'll go ahead and link. Miguel will go ahead and help link our Discord in there if you are not already a member or at least involved in that. Let's see. All right, so we can go ahead and get started here. So this course is specifically for non-cybersecurity majors, you can be a cybersecurity major and still attend this course. It'll just be more tailored towards personal benefits, not just, I mean, not to be too technical. I don't want people to be deterred if they're not too technically inclined, but definitely still are going to go over a lot of key concepts in cybersecurity. Of course, another thing is if you are interested in minoring in cybersecurity, we do offer those degrees here at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. And of course, like I mentioned already, having personal benefit to knowing more about cybersecurity and what it can do for you, your company, who you may be involved with, and of course, everyone else around you, just to be more mindful. So going over the course topics, we've set out somewhat of a broad listing, but we do want to hear feedback from you as much as we can regarding what you want to hear and what key points that you would like to hear more about, because we may go over a topic and we think you guys may know it, but you may not really feel 100% comfortable already passing it up. So we can definitely go back. Going to be concepts that we will be introducing or talking about every time that we have a lecture. We have some triads that we'll look into, but of course, we'll have our introduction. We'll talk about the evolution of cybersecurity and its regulations and how it's evolved throughout the years. We'll go over malware. There's a ton of malware. And even social engineering. Social engineering is pretty, for me, it's very interesting because you don't have to be technically inclined. As long as you know how to present yourself, you can convince anyone that you are what you are. I've seen several videos regarding that, which we will share in the lectures moving forward. I want to try and talk about ethical hacking for sure, because of course, knowing cybersecurity is great and all, but we also need to understand that how to do it ethically if we're going to look into penetration testing. We can't just expect to test out a system, like we can't just expect to test out Google's servers or anything like that. You might get in a lot of trouble. We'll also go over cryptography a bit. And like I said, depending on our audience, we can definitely give out assignments more tailored to topics like cryptography, and just mostly terminology for everything else. Let's see, we'll do, of course, network security. We won't go too deep into it because there's a lot that goes into network security, but I do want to at least go over the basics because this may also pertain to your at-home router. It's not just for industry. It's best to know this for your own sake as well. Personal security being like device hardening, which I also listed there. Just being more aware of like username and passwords and all that. Then we'll, virtual private networks tailored to network security and certifications, because there are a lot of available certifications to take if you are very interested in this topic or degree, or even if you are just a computer science major, getting one of these certificates can be very, very beneficial to you in the long run. And we'll definitely provide links and whatnot when we get to that. Let's see. Oops. All right. So just a couple of definitions, just so we can be on the same page. So one of these here, cybersecurity is the organization and collection of resources, processes, and structures used to protect cyberspace and cyberspace-enabled systems from occurrences that misalign de jure from de facto property rights. And this is from Dan Craigian. And of course, another one being cybersecurity is really just humans must defend machines that are attacked by other humans using machines. So this is actually a quote from Frederick Chang, former director of research at the National Security Agency, NSA, in the United States. Another definition that it's not too technical, it's just that cybersecurity involves like protecting the information by preventing, detecting, and responding to cyber attacks. These are some definitions that are good to know. The last one there, definitely just preventing, detecting, and responding. Those three things are what cybersecurity is all about. All right, just a quick exercise. Which one would you think is more secure? The one on the left or the one on the right? I just want to gauge everyone real quick. They look exactly the same. A lot of good answers. Yes, yeah. All right. Yes, that is a very good point. There are several little factors in here, which I'll go over. Let's see, let me grab my pen. A laser pointer probably be better. All right. So, reason why we choose the one on the right off the bat, you can see that there are at least this lock symbol. This one actually, like Firefox also has a shield, but this lock is a good indicator that this website is using SSL, right? I almost forgot the SSL or TLS encryption. And of course, the one on the left doesn't have anything. Another easy indicator for if they're using a secure encryption for their website is that HTTPS. It's on the right. Obviously, on the left, we only have HTTP. That is the unencrypted hypertext protocol. Let's see. Another one that's kind of obvious is just straight up the website's name. Amazon.com on the right, AmazonX.com on the left. So just be very mindful of what links you are clicking, of course. Because there have been times where even I have clicked on a link and I was like, I don't know about that one. Backed out of it and then just made sure I was good to go. Found an actual link. You never also want to click on links in if you're suspicious of like an email, like which we'll go over next. You never want to just blankly click on a link. There we go. There it is. So on the left side is that email that I was referring to. Can anyone point out why this one would be considered sketchy or in technical terms, a phishing attempt? Oh, the font is big enough. All right, good. Yeah, I already got some answers in here. So it's actually from the very top. So when you see it says from your order, most of the time it doesn't tell you who it's from, but for this example, of course, it's showing us it's from help@markyourtrails.com. This is nothing to do with Amazon. If you were to see this as an email and you were too concerned with, I didn't order something that's $1,500, you'd probably attempt to click on a link there or like click on track your package or even go as far as maybe click on one of the recommendations. Another indication is just the way it's structured. Sometimes you'll see misspells. This one's pretty good, but I did notice that down here, like unless otherwise noted, items sold at Amazon. There's no A in this Amazon link at the bottom. And this would be considered phishing, where they would attempt to lure you in with something as outrageous as you spent $1,500 on Amazon. And of course, the one on the right is technically the same thing, I don't really see v7xcn.info being a website from Amazon, but here I'm getting text from quote unquote Amazon being Amazon 2020 resolutions. 1, don't be greedy, and 2, care more about customers, so get your $130 freebie. So thankfully, technology nowadays recognizes phishing attempts at times and even offers just a report button. But you do also need to be careful about the report buttons. I've seen a link once, just because I was clearing up my spam just to see what has been sent to me. And they've even attempted to put a report junk mail button or report spam within the email. So if you don't go through Google's or Outlook's form for reporting junk mail, they could get you that way. So they're evolving in the way that they attempt to do phishing. And just for technical terms, which we'll get into later on a different lecture, the one on the right is actually referred to as smishing. That's just SMS phishing. So they just put it together, said smishing. Let's see. All right, so of course, importance and personal effects. How does this affect you? Of course, there's some key points here. And regarding username and passwords, like those phishing attempts, all they have to do is get you to their login page. All you have to do is put your username and password in. It may attempt to try to get your email in a different form or fashion, but what their ultimate goal is to try to get as much information out of you. And if you easily give them your username and password, you've already opened the door to them. But of course, this affects in more detail what's called personal identifiable information, PII, which consists, like here is your full name, your license, social security number, financial and medical information. And then regarding medical information, there's even an additional, let's see, a different term called protected health information, which refers to just the federal protection of personal health information, which is regulated by HIPAA. I'm assuming everyone has heard of HIPAA before. And then, of course, intellectual property. And intellectual property could be something like a patent that you personally own or a company owns, and of course, company inventions or personal inventions and trade secrets. The list goes on regarding intellectual property. But these are the more affected pieces of information. And of course, knowing more about cybersecurity and hardening your devices and being more mindful of what you're clicking and giving your information to, you'll be better equipped and prepared to prevent these type of attacks. And of course, attacks we'll talk about in malware, or in our malware section. Let's see. Right. So really quickly, I just wanted to talk about jobs as well. The job opportunities for knowing cybersecurity can be either public or private. Public, obviously referring to government. At least for the government, there's a lot of benefits with working with the government. Your job security is what I'm referring to. Job security is a key thing in going public, but the only downside to it is that you may not get as much pay. Of course, this is a different conversation versus what cybersecurity can do for you, but just want to let you guys know that there's opportunities in both government and private sectors, being business with potentially higher pay, but that potential higher pay could also be potentially lower regarding how that company views they feel like, no, we're good. We don't really need that much of a security department, and they may pay less. But ultimately, that's up to a private company to judge. But you can flourish in a private company as well. let's see, and regarding jobs, Miguel and I have had internships this summer, particularly for cybersecurity. I've personally worked for one of the world's largest privately owned retail companies as their software engineer. Cybersecurity systems engineer. That was a mouthful, but I thoroughly enjoyed my time and what I got to learn throughout the process. Even though we do learn a lot of the more, what would you say, technical aspect in college. Yeah, the technical aspect in college, but once you get out in the real world, that's the more practical sense. And actually, I'll let Miguel talk a little bit about his internship, even though we're both kind of like hush-hush almost about it.
My name is Miguel Fernandez. Currently the treasurer for Cybersecurity Club. And yeah, I basically, in the summer, I did an internship with the Department of Defense. And that's about all that I can say, but it was really fun. I had a lot of great experience from it. And definitely a lot of the things you learn from just jumping into cybersecurity, everything from whichever topic you start off with, whichever position you get, a lot of the technical aspects and a lot of the tools that you get to use, they're very much interconnected with each other, causing everything to kind of like have a flow. So if there's a certain thing you need to do, there's always all these kinds of different tools that you can use in order to work on the project that you need to work on.
Yes, thanks. All right. Actually, that's the first time you're hearing a little bit more about what he does or what he did over the summer versus just being, oh, I can't talk too much about it. But definitely there's opportunity out there. And for our students, through our cybersecurity club, we are actively trying to promote jobs. I'm currently partnering with, which one is it? HEB for their Level Up program. So I'll be posting listings on opportunity for either the summer or the spring whenever they're in town or have job opportunities available. We are actively trying to get more involved with or get more of an opportunity for our students as well. But before we move on, did anyone have any questions, maybe regarding either of our jobs, maybe not too much detail, but anything that you would like to hear about, maybe what we learned, or any questions regarding the other slides we've had? I'll give it a couple minutes for the chat, or if anyone wants to actually talk, you can. We're all just here waiting, in an empty room.
I do have a question.
All right.
And it's more tailored like for the certifications, like I'm CS and I know the cybersecurity majors do get a couple of certifications. I think that's actually like a required class. I'm assuming that's what I've heard. But what certs would you recommend us to start off with, or which ones do you feel that are more important and are more like recognized by the industry?
Perfect question. For me, I am Security Plus certified. I passed that exam back in May. It was a bit stressful, of course, but thankfully I studied enough for it and had classes here with Dr. Q and Dr. Sue and a couple of other professors to help me out on it. But for our degree, for the cybersecurity degree, the catalog that I'm part of, it's stated that you have to graduate with 2 certificates. As of right now, that can be just a general Network Plus, Linux Plus, and Security Plus offered through CompTIA. Actually, can you link the CompTIA website on there? And let's see, but there are other ones that I have heard of that are more useful, or not useful, but that are more specific, I should say. There is, oh goodness, what was it called? CC. One moment while I look up that. But there are other more specific, like Cisco related ones for networking, like CCNP. And I think those will be offered as certificates through the university. I'll have to get in contact with our department here to see what exactly, or what certificates we actually offer. But to go back to your question regarding what do I feel would be best, really depends on your interests. If you want to be in IT and networking is your thing, then definitely Network Plus and stuff like the CCNP for Cisco. But there are other certificates offered by like CompTIA that are specific to like penetration testing. Oh, perfect. Yeah, so if you click on the link, let's actually go through it real quick before we. Okay, perfect. I love this. I love this one. I've been following it for a while, and they have updated it. This is the roadmap, cybersecurity roadmap, and it offers. Well, it categorizes every certificate into what field that you're interested in. So, as of right now, let's just say I currently have the Security Plus exam. And it actually also tells you a little bit about the exam, how much it costs. And I think if you click on it, it'll actually take you to the page. Yeah, so you can go in here and find a little bit more about it. But I know that through CompTIA, they have all these. So in particular to cybersecurity, this is the cybersecurity analysis, right? Cybersecurity analyst. Yeah. So a cybersecurity analyst certificate. They also offer pen testing and CASP, CompTIA Advanced Security Practitioner. I'm not too sure. I haven't read too much on this one. Senior Security Engineers. Okay. All right. These are definitely some nice ones to have. But if you are interested in, like I said, more tailored, let's see. If you want to go from a generic or general, so I should say, a general certificate to a more particular one, I would recommend still taking like Security Plus, Network Plus, and some of the other more advanced security certificates from CompTIA. But definitely but look into Cisco certificates as well. Like I said, the CCNP Enterprise. Right now, I believe we're also working on trying to have the university cover the cost of some of these. Because if you notice, some of these cost $350. I had to fork out that money personally, even though I had a class here. But as of right now, it's these courses I feel like are, or at least the instructional or instructor, I can't pronounce that, instructor-based lectures that are offered here, they're very good and they're evolving and they're getting better at it because we do have to come up with our own testing. We can't borrow a testing from a different facility like CompTIA to get our students prepared for these exams. But this is definitely a nice list to go off of. I'm trying to look, I've been trying to scan here for the other one that I've been interested in, but it is they're very small. There's even Server and Cloud Plus that they also offer, but I definitely would say look into this. And if you're interested in any of these topics, on the left side, we have communication networking, then we have IAM, then we have security architecture and engineering, asset security, security and risk management. And just to go back to what I was doing for the summer internship, mine was being a compliance engineer. So I would scan our networks daily and offer vulnerability remediation to different teams for their servers. Either help them secure and lock down their networks or their servers, or just let their IT department know and let them go ahead and do it. Because a lot of times when you work with a lot of different teams, they may not have the same configuration, and that goes more into data hardening or device hardening, because you don't want someone to get into your server or your account or anything and know exactly where this file should be or that file. So some people configure them differently and mix it up with how they name folders or where they're located. So that's why I couldn't really go in there and just make changes on the fly. So aside from that, were there any certificates that you have considered? Okay. All right. I hope that answered your question. Just give us
Yes, it did. Thank you.
okay.
Just a little bit also on like a follow-up question.
Mhm.
I heard that when you do take a certification, it only lasts for like a certain period of time. Like let's say it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
year.
Yes, the CompTIA ones, let's see if I can get back to this one. Like this one, the one that I had taken. This one, where is it? Exam detail. Here it is. So this one, the launch date was 2020, November 12, 2020, and at the bottom here, retirement, usually 3 years after launch. So every 3 years, this test gets updated, and I was hoping to say it here, plain text. But another thing is that once you pass it, your certificate is good for 3 years. You do have to go through the course yet again to continue having that status. But I believe every company or every different type of test is different. So you will have to read up on those. I just know that the security plus, network plus, anything that's offered by CompTIA is normally a 3-year expiration date, and you have up until then to take it. You also have to make sure you're aware of what exam you can take. I think the one previous to this one was the 501. The current one is 601, but it looks like here in the next year, right? Or is it already? I think it's one more year left with this one, and then they come up with a new one. And it's always advised to take the newest version. Don't try to retake the previous one you already took. And that's at least what I can say about CompTIA. Some, if you get lucky, I don't know if they offer this anymore, but back in the day, for sure, they offered lifetime certificates. And that's good and all, but what's stopping someone, or what's the point of taking a test, let's just say back in the 90s, it's been 20 years at least. So you can imagine, like, you would want someone with that kind of certificate to retake it. So I could see why they have it expire every 3 years, because with the speed of which technology is evolving, you want to be up to date, and you want to make sure that your employers are up to date with their knowledge. All right. I think that's it for that.
All right, thank you for answering my question.
You're welcome. Let's see. Were there any other questions regarding jobs or anything particular to what we'll be covering or what you would like to see moving forward with these lectures? Of course, we're just going over an overview and what cybersecurity is and what we can look forward to. But I kind of want to hear from y'all if there's anything that you have questions about or want to see. If not, we can move forward. I think there's a couple more slides. I think we're okay with time.
I do have something.
All right.
I did a little bit of like malware development in Python, but I
Okay.
didn't get it like really like advanced depth.
Mhm.
I did see that you have some slides that we're gonna be going over malware,
Yeah.
but how deep do you go into it? Do you like a backdoor, like rats or stuff? What?
So as of right now, our plan is just to do an overview of it because, like I mentioned, we are just at least judging or trying to gear our lectures more towards our audience. So of course, someone like you who may want more information on malware, will consider definitely going into it and possibly making a more detailed assignment for it. But of course, for everyone else who may not know it at all and just kind of want to see an overview of it, we'll have to like try and tailor it. Of course, we'll have the assignments optional, right? Because we're not trying to do what our Intro to Python series is doing, where although they have assignments every day, which makes sense, or every week, which makes sense. And the end goal for them is to get like a certificate through the university of some sort. For us, we're just trying to get the word out and give a more educational stance on cybersecurity. But yes, we can definitely consider doing some more detailed assignments on malware and cryptography if you'd like. I would just need to, because it looks like a lot of people are computer science majors already. So it looks like a majority of you may have that, or may have it, or already have that knowledge of programming and want to see how it's implemented in code, which we will consider. Yeah, we'll definitely go ahead and write that down and include it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. Right. If not, if there aren't any more questions, I think we'll go ahead and move on. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, Robert, we'll go ahead and consider that as well. As far as the hands-on, which is the same thing as this program. Let's see. I think we have a couple more slides. Okay, this slide. This is the slide that I want everyone to at least know leaving today and after our semester of lectures concludes. CIA, of course, it's not what you think it is. It actually stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And these three form the CIA triad that every cybersecurity major goes off of. And of course, the triad actually helps guide development of security policies for organizations. So as you can see, confidentiality would answer the question of who can see this data. So it involves encryption. The integrity part involves a question or answering, has this message been modified? Because you want to make sure that even though your message may be confidential and encrypted, who's to say that it wasn't still modified on its way over? A lot of the integrity hashing is what we call it, is involved or included when you download a piece of software. Like I said, we'll go into more detail about it and what it is, but definitely at least hashing it lets you know and makes it aware that the data that you are receiving is true to its original data and it's not modified in any way. And then lastly, availability is part of this triad. Answers, can I access my data? This deals with redundancy. It deals with basically just making sure that the data is available when needed. Do you have any other additional things about the triad? Right. It's simple, and that's the reason why it's like why I want you to remember it. This is something that's super easy, and it will tie into each lecture, some form or fashion. Every assignment or lab that we give, we'll try to implement the CIA triad. There's also a secondary triad. It's called the AAA triad, which we'll get into later. But the CIA triad definitely has its place in every aspect of cybersecurity. Aside from that, I believe that is it for my slides for today. You just leave it on this one if you guys want to write it down. Let's see. Yeah, other than that, this is our first lecture. I do hope that it was informative to a point and makes you more curious about cybersecurity, whether that be considering it being on a personal benefit and wanting to learn it for your own benefit, sorry, or even possibly even considering it being a minor or even pushing it, of course, being your new major. I don't want to force anything on anyone or try to convince anyone, but this is, I want to make sure this is a nice segue into your interest into cybersecurity. Other than that, we didn't have any other further questions. I'm going to say we're free to go. Go ahead and stop the recording, and just so you guys know, this recording will be available later on our YouTube channel. So, and answer the chat.
Yes, Shane, it would be every week on Tuesdays, 5 to 6, either here in the Bronzeville campus, the main, forgot the room number, but we'll put it in the chat, and as well through online. So whichever way it works better for you guys,